Hello and welcome to another Backpage Pass. No, I am not John O'Donnell, I am Mark Corcoran, and this week I'm joined by...
I'm Cormac Coughlin.
John couldn't be here this week, but he is with us in spirit. No, he's not dead. He provided us with some very helpful notes and stats.
Some detailed notes, John. I'll give you that.
Yeah, props on the notes. A round of applause for
There's
John.
some 57.9 percentages there on shot saves. Oh,
and Manchester City, who's the best value for goals scored and all that crack. Anyway, we'll get into that as the show goes on. So after another interesting week in the Premier League, there's only one place to start, and that's at Anfield. Cormac, what did you make of it?
Emotional stuff, obviously, for a Liverpool fan. For those of you who don't know, I support United, just like my friend Mark here.
This is going to be a very biased program.
Yeah. No, very emotional. I mean, like, obviously, Hillsborough, probably one of the most memorable, for the wrong reasons, things to do with the Premiership or English football in the last century, and it's obviously a very emotional occasion. The timing of it, finally the families got some justice, I guess, and there were the banners that were all around the ground. So a hugely emotionally charged event. Obviously, there were some quite frankly just scumbags chanting different things throughout the match, and that's always going to be expected of English football. It's the blight of English football, really, hooliganism, and you can always expect that to happen at some point. There's always going to be one guy or two guys, but as a whole, I think the match itself wasn't great, but the occasion, it was pretty intense.
Well, I said I think on last week that I was quite worried about how things were going to go at that match. I think I said that United were the worst team that Liverpool could have played for their first home game after the Hillsborough report, because there was just so much spitefulness between the two clubs. But I think despite there was some provocative chanting and from United fans and some silly behaviour from some Liverpool fans who provoked them, I think by and large it probably went better than I expected. I think there will be fairly positive memories from both sets of fans. It was nice to see, for example, Bobby Charlton waving to the cop, presenting Ian Rush with the flowers and the wreath, and Ryan Giggs and Jared letting off the balloons. Those would be nice memories, and I thought it was a fitting tribute. So I thought overall it was quite a positive start to the game. But what did you make of Mark Halsey's the key decisions? The game itself has been it's been made out to be quite controversial, but I'm not so sure myself. What do you think?
The tackle we're talking about here.
I suppose the John Joe Shelby tackle, which resulted in the red card, and also the penalty.
I'm always one to stay away from tackle decisions, because it's so easy to say, oh, that wasn't a red card, but I actually don't officially know the rules. It didn't look that bad, and maybe he could have let it slide because of the game, the high profile game that it was. And people often say when a player goes off that early, it kind of takes the venom out of a game, and people start to just lose interest because it's gone down 10 to 11. Although that can create a great game if the 10 players come back, but more often than not it kind of sucks the wind out of the sail for that game, and it kind of grinds to a halt.
Just actually on that, John, thanks to John, he's provided us with some very helpful notes. So the definition of a dangerous tackle is if a player is guilty of using serious foul play, or if he uses excessive force or brutality against an opponent when challenging for the ball when it is in play. Thank you, John. Do you think it was excessive force?
This is a very tricky one, because obviously both players, it wasn't the ideal situation for both players to making that kind of challenge, and both players did make not exactly a clean cut challenge to get that ball. But if I was to pick someone that I thought went in with more aggression, went in with more intent, I'd have to pick John Joe Shelby. I think his reaction afterwards was absolutely unbelievable.
You don't think Ferguson grasped him?
I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine that he would. I mean, I think Alex Ferguson has more sense than that to go after John Joe Shelby, especially on the occasion. I think Alex Ferguson is against John Joe. Yeah. You're perfectly honest.
Probably didn't even know who he was before that match.
Someone get Paul Konchesky off the pitch.
Exactly. What does grasp? What does it to grasp somebody? I read that and I thought it was
to tell them. I believe it's to tell. It's in the Sopranos.
So the word to rat somebody out. That's That's gone. We've replaced that with the word grass.
Yeah, it's more fitting on the football pitch.
Okay, thanks very much. And what did you?
No problem.
And what did you make of the penalty? The penalty incident.
I didn't think it was a foul. I thought it was 70-30 for being foul, but you have to understand that ref is not as fast as those players. And if he sees a player being taken down and the challenge is from behind, you gotta know, like, you can't do that. You can't take someone down from behind. And I know that referees are supposed to be as fit as football players in theory to keep up the play, but they're not. They're 50-year-old men, 40-year-old men who are very fit for their age, but they cannot run as fast as Valencia making a break.
Well, not many people can run as fast as
Not many people can. Like, start having to employ 100-meter sprinters to become refs if you want to keep up with the play. But he saw someone getting dragged down from behind, and it was a stupid challenge in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't even trying to slide to block the ball. He slid into the man. He had his arm around the top of his shoulder. I mean, you're just asking for trouble. I don't think it was a penalty, but I can understand why Mark Halsey would make the call there and then. I think Glenn Johnson should have known better, and he could have easily not given away the penalty by just sliding to try and make a block, as opposed to going very close to the player. Putting your hands on the player, first of all, is rule numero uno in the box, even from a cross, but especially from open play. To put your hands on the player isn't exactly the right thing to do if you're trying to not concede a penalty.
Interesting enough, former Liverpool player Mark Lawrenson said on Match of the Day 2 that he agreed with both of those decisions, which I kind of thought was a bit surprising. I thought the Liverpool guy was automatically just going to say the referee was wrong, but I think
Mark's more scared of Alex than he is.
Than of the referee. Rodgers. But I think when you put your hands on a player who's moving at that speed in the box, you're asking for trouble, really.
Yeah, and especially when someone has what is perceived to be now in the modern game a goal scoring opportunity. Anything that's like if you put your hand on a player when he's about to strike the ball, like, he's going to go down. I don't think Valencia died per se. I think the momentum took him down, but he probably could have stayed up if he'd wanted to. But I don't think it was an out-and-out dive. I mean, like, you know, when some players can make the decision to stay up, but they decide just to go with the momentum of the other player. I think that was the case there. But I didn't think that it was a stonewall penalty, as people say, but I do think it was a stupid rash challenge, and that from where the referee was, he saw it as a penalty.
And what about that goal from Rafael? Could that be the best goal ever scored by a right back in the Premier League?
Stephen Carr, Tottenham.
Oh, yes, I stand corrected. Absolutely.
That's off the cuff as well.
Yeah, top corner from outside the box.
But maybe by a Brazilian left back who happens to have a twin who also plays in the Premiership. Then it was the best goal.
Yeah. And just finally on the Man United Liverpool game, I saw a tweet from Jeff Shreves earlier in the week, and this is spooky. If you don't believe in spooky things, this is spooky. Okay, John Joe Shelby was sent off at 38 minutes and 58 seconds.
It's something to do with Hillsborough there.
38 plus 58 is.
Don't do this to me.
96. Steven Gerrard scored after 45 minutes and 51 seconds. 96. Raphael scored after 51 minutes and 45 seconds. 96. Van Persie scored after 80 minutes and 16 seconds. All add up to 96.
If that is true, that is remarkable.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
But I can't believe that. That is weird. I'll give you that. That is some Ripley's Believe It or Not right there.
It's going into the Guinness Book of Records and spooky things, or whatever they call it these days.
The Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what they'd call it if they'd combined those two things. Anyway,
it's called the Ripley's Believe It or Not.
What do you work for them now? Okay, I think we'll wrap that up and say that's the end of part one, and we'll be back when I press stop and then I press record again. Alright, bye bye. Alright, welcome back. This is part two. Let's go straight into the action. City versus Arsenal. What did you think?
It was an entertaining enough game for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
I thought it was, and in my opinion right now, based on performances that have gone before them, probably the two, despite Arsenal not scoring many goals in their first few games, two of the most informed teams in the Premiership, or the top two, I think. Man City, they're still going strong despite, after getting a few new players in towards the end of Arsenal. Probably going through a complete overhaul of players for the first time in a long time. They're not like young academy players who need to be broken in. They are proper, tried and tested, most with international experience players, and
trying to win things now, basically.
Yeah, basically throwing their name into the hat instead of just wandering around. And I thought it was a good game overall. Unlucky for both sides had chances to win it. Obviously, Man City going ahead early and Arsenal pulling it back. But I liked Gervinho at centre forward, and he showed some unbelievable skill in beating players. Now his final shot wasn't there, but that seems to be an issue with all Arsenal players at the moment. That centre forward cursed spot, and for the last few years they haven't had an out striker for a while outside of Van Persie, because he was injured a lot and stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good game. I thought both teams looked strong at points. Overall, if you had to pick a winner, I'd probably pick Man City if I thought they were going to do it. I thought they were the stronger of the teams overall, but I think it was a great outing by both teams on the day.
Were you surprised to see Tevez on the bench?
From a fantasy football point of view, when you put him as your captain,
you're
very surprised to see he's not getting on.
Well, fair enough, he starts on the bench. Don't bring him on for that 1 point.
Because you have Raphael on the bench who got 11 points, and you're waiting for him to get on, but you throw on Tevez anyway. Oh, it's just the worst. Anyway.
Interesting stat though. I think in the games that Tevez and Aguero have started together, they've started 9 games together. They've won all 9. So it seems like a no-brainer to actually play the two of them together, because they've looked pretty electric when they have played together.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of these things in football, they seem so obvious to us, and why don't you do it? But obviously, the manager has his reasons. I'm sure Roberto Mancini has seen this. Either that, or he's just a buffoon. But I don't know the reasons why they haven't played together. Maybe it's just been tactics, or one has to be put in instead of the other. I mean, the reason we were given that Tevez didn't start that game was because he was tired. I always find that a weird excuse for international or world-class footballers, that a footballer is tired.
Yeah.
Like, it's their job.
Yeah.
Like, they're only 5-6 weeks into the season, he's tired. If that's the case, he should probably retire.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the reason we were given. I mean, Aguero did an okay job. I still think he hasn't. He obviously started off real well. I'm not sure if you remember his debut, but he came on and took the game by the scruff of the neck.
Swansea,
unbelievable goal.
Yeah.
I think he hasn't very well, but I think Man City fans are still expecting something more from him. I think they're still waiting for him to prove himself. I mean, he's done a lot, but I don't think he's
well. They'll never forget the goal he got in the last day of the season.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
So I think you can pretty much expect them to build a statue of him when he leaves Man City.
Probably. Yeah.
But what you make of Mancini came out after their League Cup defeat last night and said that Premier League managers, they all seem to be giving him a hard time. Do you think it's reasonable to complain?
He's Italian.
Yeah. Well, he specifically said they give him a harder time than Alex Ferguson. So do you think it's a case of you have to kind of do your years, earn your respect?
Well, is it a harder time on the pitch? Like, give his players a harder time?
Well, Paul Lambert specifically got into an argument with him yesterday over a tackle. I think Mancini didn't want it to be a yellow card and Lambert did, or something like that, and two of them got in each other's face, and Mancini came out and basically said, I'm tired of this, everybody leave me alone. I feel sad for it.
Such a poxy thing to say, to be honest, but like, managers get in each other's faces all the time. I mean, Arsene Wenger during the super years, and just a little bit after that. I mean, every week someone was coming up and giving out about Martin Keown.
Yeah,
like it was like, it's just something you have to deal with. I mean, no one's picking on them. For God's sake.
It's just I think when you're dealing with the champions, people just want it so much more than they did when you weren't the champion. So you can expect things to be a bit of a rougher ride than they were before.
Yeah, exactly.
And just quickly, I'm looking down the fixture list, and the one that really stands out to me was Swansea and Everton. 3-0 away win for Swansea, or for Everton, at a Swansea team that have really performed quite well this season. How high do you think Everton can finish this season?
Well, I think right now it's still they're playing really well right now, and all we can say as of this moment is that Everton are doing reverse of what they normally do. They normally start off very, very slowly at the start of the season, and then they finish ridiculously strongly. So whether this is just the reverse of that happening, and they're going to start very strongly or finish weakly, I quite frankly can't really see that happening.
Well, they're in third place right now, and the last time they started this well, they finished fourth and qualified for the Champions League. Of course, the following
lost to Villarreal.
Yeah, they got knocked out, so it was no good to them as it turned out. But do you see them nicking the 4th place?
No. Over the season, no. I think there's only. I mean, they're playing really well at the moment. Like if Fellaini can be stopped, which they're gonna figure a way out of getting to him eventually. I mean, every player he's started off very strongly and he's holding up the ball well. I mean, there are other players outside of Fellaini making things happen, but Fellaini is clearly the main man at the moment. I mean,
what happens if he leaves?
What happens? Yeah, what happens if he leaves in the January transfer window? What happens if he goes down injured? I mean, Jelavic is already injured. I don't think Jelavic is a good striker, but he's not whatever Fellaini is right now. He's like a second striker. He basically do whatever the hell he wants around the pitch, just if he gets the ball. But you can't just rely on one player. Now, obviously, they've got great attacking threats in Pinar and Baines, and Osman's coming into his own now that Fellaini is providing another attacking threat. But teams that you don't know right now if they're on a rich vein of form or if this is going to continue into a world class team. You can't tell this early. They just happen to have strung together a few very good results. Having said that, they have beaten teams well when they've done this, so maybe it is for real. But as of right now, I think it's very early to tell whether this team is going to last the season. They have started well. I think Fellaini and Jelavic could be an unbelievable combination in the Premier League, and the likes of Pinar and Baines who can whip in crosses. So I
think it's been good for the league.
Yeah,
to have another team that you think that's another big fixture when they're playing against you, and if they got in the Champions League, it would really you'd be talking about a top 7 or 8 in no time.
Yeah,
and I think it's only good for the Premier League. I think we should wrap it up there for part 2. In part 3, we're going to look forward to next week's fixtures. We've got some cracking games, and we got a few hot topics to discuss as well. So catch you in a bit. Okay, welcome back to part 3 of Backpage Pass. Cormac, here's one for you. Who do you think is going to win more trophies this season? More winners' medals, Santi Cazorla or Eden Hazard?
Eden Hazard, based on the established team around him. And I think Chelsea, who are looking like they're beginning to stumble, although no team that tries to play passing football is ever going to play well against Stoke, because Stoke go out there to take the legs off people.
Yeah.
But I think, it's so hard to call. I mean, Arsenal haven't won anything in a while, so that could play against them. That they are having a resurgence of form, but that doesn't mean anything in the long run. It doesn't mean you're going to win trophies that season. It might be something just to build on.
Well, I'll put it to you like this: Chelsea have played 2 finals already this season, the Community Shield and the Super Cup. They have no winners' medals. They also are playing in December in the World Club Cup, so you could probably say that's one winners' medal. They're probably going to win that, but that'll probably make them lose points in the Premier League because they've got so many games in December. So you kind of have one there and you've lost another one by my calculations. Do you see Arsenal maybe winning the Carling Cup,
No.
FA Cup? No?
Well, no. Man, it's hard to make a call with the Arsenal team because I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger could put out anyone. I don't know who these people are yet. From France, but originally from Senegal. That kind of crack. But you just don't know who the team is. So, in regards to the cups that he uses to field new young players, I mean, he has just as good a chance as any year because you don't know who the team is really. But in regards to Chelsea, I think it's so hard to call. I mean, Chelsea, they do also play young players, but they also play established players. They may use this as a chance to either rest the Lampards or start the Lampards, depending on how he's used in the Premiership.
Yeah.
We still don't know what the plans are for that. But if I had to pick someone right now, I'd have to pick Chelsea.
Yeah. Alright, well, how about the more immediate situation? The 2 teams are playing each other this weekend at the Emirates. Who's going to be the match winner then? Cazorla or Hazard or nobody? Or who's going to win?
This is going to be interesting because both teams are now starting to play a similar style of football passing. Chelsea have now, to their detriment or credit in the Premier League, have decided to play more passing football. With
the Abramovich way, really.
Well,
what he's always wanted.
Yeah, what he's wanted. Yeah. With smaller, faster, more technical players. If you look at they've lost significant bulk in their attacking team when you compare that. It used to be Drogba, and I'm not saying Joe Cole was bulky, but he's bigger than Mata and he's bigger than Hazard, and they've lost Maluda, who was small but stocky, like he was a big guy. And now they have Oscar
and Anelka as well is probably
Anelka.
a more experienced option than Sturridge.
Yeah, but now they have Torres, who is a girly boy at the best of times when he's trying to hold the ball up. He's good at making runs. They have Oscar, Mada, and Hazard. Now they're skillful players, but they're not big. And they may struggle in the Premiership, like we saw against Stoke. When they come up, teams can just disrupt them by kicking legs from underneath them. But this game against Arsenal is going to be a cracker, I think, because they're both going to try and play the same style of football. Arsenal playing the Barcelona minus 1.5 version of football.
Yeah, and pass the ball into the net.
And Chelsea going to... Oh, sorry, we're supposed to be United game here. No. And Arsenal is going to play their usual style of football. So I think it could be an interesting game. I think it could be potentially very high scoring.
Yeah.
A lot of chances created. But if I had to pick someone to come out on top...
Yeah, let's go for predictions here.
It all depends on if Arsenal can find the back of the net when they're strikers. But I think Chelsea will take it.
And how about the...
John Terry.
I was just going to ask you, how about the John Terry factor? Do you think that's going to affect them at all?
I don't think...
It didn't last night.
I don't think the John Terry factor affects footballers, because when they're on the pitch, John Terry's just a footballer.
Well, it's a footballer that they want to
hurt.
Yeah, in some manner.
I think John Terry is the most despicable excuse for a human being. He single-handedly brought the fair play handshake into disrepute.
Here we go. I see a rant going on here.
How can you be proud of yourself that a fair play initiative set up by FIFA to encourage respect and fair play, you bring that into disrepute?
Yeah. No one wants to shake your hand.
You can't keep your Mickey in your trousers and you're basically your racist views to yourself.
Yeah.
Like 3 fellow Englishmen, 2 of them capped for England, refuse to shake your hand, and you still continue to play football.
Yeah.
To step down from the England squad, probably the right call, because he's ruffled too many feathers at this stage, being a glorified racist and a wife banger.
Well, should we wait till this man has been proven innocent by the courts?
If R. Kelly can get away with banging someone on a video who's underage, people can get away with anything if they have the money. R. Kelly is innocent. He was not proven guilty in a court of law.
John Terry equals R. Kelly. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but just we all saw what he said. It's on video.
Well, actually, the videos I've seen, they've kind of blurred out his mouth, so it's kind of he could be saying "I love you" to Anton Ferdinand for all I know.
And it's just a ridiculous Rupert Murdoch propaganda thing that he has some sort of liking for the Ferdinand brothers.
Yeah,
but in regards to the John Terry situation, probably the right call to step down from England. I don't think it's just going to go on in the media. I think footballers, with the exception of the Ferdinand's friends, the Ferdinands and Wayne Bridge and Wayne Bridge's friends, probably won't care that much. Maybe if he is proven 100% guilty, then the other black players, tan players, any players will take offence to it. But I don't know what I'm trying to say here anymore. Maybe John Terry should step down from football altogether. But I don't think he won't.
Yeah.
But the whole situation is a bit ludicrous, to be honest. He's dug his own grave as well. He's made his own decisions. This isn't something that accidentally happened. It's all his own doing.
So
the point of that rant was that John Terry is a bad person.
Okay. And I
should have turned on the United back so I can't concentrate.
Will I pause?
No.
Of course not. Stupid question. Okay, I think you mentioned grave there in one of your last sentences, and I was going to use the word grave to move to the next topic. So who do you think is going to fall through the trapdoor or into the Premier League grave? Out of the promoted clubs, who do you think is the most likely to stay up, and who do you think is going to go down? Reading are playing Newcastle this weekend at home. West Ham are... Where are West Ham? West Ham are away at QPR. And I cannot see... Southampton are away at Everton. So, who do you think is staying up? Who do you think is going down?
Well, if I was to make a banker right now, based on them conceding so many goals already, being on -6, probably Southampton.
Yeah.
Reading have shown signs of being able to play good football at times, which is not getting the job done at the end of the day. really just falling short each time they've played. That can change in a season. It may just stay the same. It's too early to call, but Southampton have looked very weak at the back. They look strong at the front, but as Blackpool has proven, I think Blackpool is the only example I can think about now. It doesn't work like that. You need to have a good defensive system in place. So if I was to pick someone right now, I would pick Southampton. I think it's interesting to see that QPR are in 19 despite all their transfers. I mean, obviously it'll take time, but I don't think they imagine themselves starting 19th after 5 games.
Yeah, it's some tough fixtures out there. I think they had City, they played City and Chelsea. So I think that's a false position for them. But how about Andy Carroll with West Ham? I think if he comes, when he comes back, he could kind of help them up the table.
Yeah, I mean, he's a quality striker. I think West Ham have I think we said it in a podcast 4 weeks ago, they have the best Premiership experience on the pitch. They have a Premiership manager, former Premiership manager, I think.
No, current.
Sorry, I mean like with former Premiership manager experience, current. But no, Sam's like probably get the sack for no reason in about 3 months. I think they have the best chance of staying up. I think if Reading get a couple of results and string together, like all they have to do is win 3 out of the next 4 games and they'll be well clear of the relegation zone. Like the teams around them haven't won any games either. Which is shocking enough, to be honest.
It's all about who can string a few results together.
Yeah, like it can change so quickly. It gives me great pleasure to see Liverpool are in 18th. I mean, after all their talk of change, they're still rooted to the bottom 3.
Yeah, winless,
which is quite shocking. I mean, although Brendan Rodgers is going to need some time, but if I was to pick,
you see them winning away at Norwich this weekend.
See them drawing away at Norwich.
Really, the winless streak was on.
I can't see them winning. Well, sorry, I can see them winning, but I don't think they will without their talisman Joe, who is suspended.
Yeah. So let's go through some of the fixtures then. You've gone for Chelsea to win at Arsenal. How about it?
You've been recording this.
How about Everton and Southampton? Which way do you see that going?
If Everton are playing at home, I think Everton should win. Southampton are too weak at the back, especially now that they've got a giant Belgian man coming from them. So I can see Everton pretty easily. I mean, well, maybe not pretty easly, but Southampton are just like
3-1 or 3-1.
Yeah, I think Southampton are capable of giving them a scare, but I don't think they're capable of completing the nightmare. I think Everton will run out of that pretty easily.
Fulham are home to Manchester City. City drew last week. I think they've drawn 3 times this season.
Yeah, they've drawn twice.
Yeah. With Stoke, Stoke will be the other one. They've been a bit shaky so far this season, but they should manage to get 3 points against Fulham.
Fulham have actually they have been alright this season. They've scored a lot of goals. They haven't conceded that many. I mean, the Berbatov factor. That could wear out.
Yeah,
like I mean, there's a lot of spite in that football, I'd imagine right now, and that eventually will wear out. But I mean, like when he left Tottenham, he was a class player. I think it's been so long since he was given his little like lazy roaming around the pitch privileges. But he's been playing very well. Obviously, a real test in Man City. Man City have drawn too many recently. I think they'll want to win. I think a loss would be pretty detrimental to Man City. I mean, even though Fulham are ahead of them in the table at the moment, I think Man City, if they are to be serious title contenders, they at the very least want a 1-1 draw, if not 2-1 win over an informed Fulham side. But it screams draw on me right now, but it's so easy. I think Man City could win about 2-0, but I'm going to say draw.
Now there's a derby on Sunday. Villa are home to West Brom. Villa lost 4-1 to Southampton at the weekend, but then again in midweek they beat Man City 4-2 after extra time. So West Brom have had a decent start to the season. How do you see that one going? It's the only Birmingham derby as Birmingham and Wolves are in the Championship this season, so it could be a big game.
Yeah, no, it will be, and the spice that a Birmingham derby brings to the Premiership, it's always a welcome sight.
Yeah.
But I think West Brom, they're in form. I mean, Aston Villa, like just like last season, like what are they doing? Like they're like match of the day, they're always like there's like a 30-second clip of the game because absolutely nothing happened. Like what happened? When you think about it, 5 years ago, Aston Villa were named with the likes of who will be the next person to grab fourth because Liverpool have fallen.
Yeah.
Like,
When O'Neill was there.
Will it be Tottenham? Will it be Villa? They're in bloody 14th now. I'm not saying Tottenham have the greatest run of luck as of late, because they haven't. But Villa, like, how the mighty or how the near mighty have fallen. But if I was to pick, I'm going to say another draw. I think it's going to be a weekend of draws. Is it at the?
Yeah, it's at Villa Park.
At Villa Park. I'm gonna say a West Brom 1-0. A West Brom.
You're gonna hop off the draw fence. Good man.
I gotta get off it.
Yeah.
I want to make money on this accumulator.
Okay, so I suppose the last big fixture of the weekend, no offense to the people I haven't mentioned, or the teams.
Sorry, guys.
Tottenham are going to Old Trafford this weekend. I noticed that Wayne Rooney is making his comeback as we speak.
Good tackle there.
Do you think he's going to help United to victory the weekend?
Well, if he starts, I mean, Rooney's always a help to a team that he plays for.
How do you see himself and Van Persie? Do you think that can be a partnership?
I think they could. I think they could be a very good partnership. I think they could cause all sorts of trouble. But if I was to say, could Hernandez and Van Persie be a good partnership? I think they'd be an unbelievable partnership. Yeah. But like, it's just, I think a semi-boiled roast potato and Van Persie is a good partnership right now. I think it's like.
Sorry to interrupt. If John was here, he'd be like, Sammy.
Yeah, he would. Hi, John. Like, Man United haven't exactly been playing the best of football. I mean, I think Kagawa is a very good player, and I think he's a few steps away from becoming an unbelievable player in the Premiership. His passing is just second to none. His 1-2 ability is keeping the ball. I think he could become a serious playmaker for United, especially if you've the pace of Rooney and the finishing of Van Persie. But United haven't been playing that well. They know themselves. Like, they are sitting second in the table, but they've only won 2 games. Like, it's been a pretty even Premiership so far. But if I was to pick someone in Tottenham and United, I would have to pick United, because United are at home and because Tottenham are still very much struggling in their AVB. After a closer examination of the statistics John has provided for us, I have been reading the statistics wrong, and the win column I had been reading from was from home games only, ladies and gentlemen. So what I was really reading was their home form opposed to their general form. So everything I've said in this podcast up until now is irrelevant.
Thank you, and good night. Okay, well, we'll go first. What score do you want from United and Tottenham? What do you see?
What do I want? I want 8-0 to United.
Well, what do you see?
3-1 United.
And who's going to...
Based on Defoe's form, he'll grab a goal.
He'll grab a goal. And who do you see getting the goals for United?
Van Persie. I think Kaga might nick one. He's due. He hasn't gone in about 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I think he's only got 1 this season.
And I think... maybe Van Persie will grab 2 or more. Like, I think they'll come from Van Persie, Kaga, or even maybe Chicharito if he's allowed to start. Or maybe if Rooney starts, then Rooney. But maybe whoever Van Persie's second striker is. And Tottenham, they're really only informed striker being Defoe at the moment. So I think their goal will come from Defoe. You never know, though, with Vidic out for another 2 months, which has been, people found out today. United aren't that shaky. They've proven that they can play a decent level of defence without him, but he's always a boost. But
it's always worrying seeing Michael Carrick going in there. Not that he's a bad player, but it just means that United have so many players out.
Yeah, but I see that finishing 3-1.
Bye.
Don't be stupid.
Alright, well, that's it for another week. We'll catch you next week when hopefully John will have made time for you, like I and Cormac have.
Order will be restored.
Yes.
No one will be laid off for 3 weeks again.
Oh, yeah. I said I'd talk to you after the show. I know. We got to take this. See you next week.